What's up? Hello everyone. I hope you can hear me. I'm gonna try to check. Also, apologies if the stream is lagging in any way. My computer's being weird tonight. But I'm here. Hey SLJ. Welcome everyone. Isn't too much of a game plan for this one. Hey Sandy. But yeah. It's not been a very exciting week on GH. Things have happened. Some things have frustrated me. Some things have not surprised me, but I'm interested in seeing how the actors do with certain scenes. Glad you can hear me. And of course there's questions on why certain characters are still around. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a good week so far in general. It's been a busy work week. The closer we get to Christmas at my work, the crazier things get in terms of phone calls and emails and everything else. But I'm still in high spirits, so I can't complain. I am representing one of my favorite local bands, Bad Communicators, on my person today. Wicked band full of wicked dudes. Dad and son are in a band too, together in this band. Two of my favorite people on earth, I swear. But yeah, anyway. GH. What to say first? Usually we don't jump into it this fast, but there's not too many of us in here, so maybe we'll just kind of see if anyone gradually comes along. But I mean, I think the main thing I want to talk about, and probably the most interesting thing that's happened thus far, interesting in the sense that it's frustrating and I'm mad about it, is that Ned's got his memories back. He remembered that Nina is the one that kind of unleashed the SEC on Carly and Drew. And Olivia, she was like, no, Sonny's happy. Olivia! Since when? Since when has that stopped you from being honest with Sonny? I mean, yeah, you had the whole thing with Dante back in the day. But, you know, if anything, you've learned that honesty is the best policy with Sonny. Otherwise, pretty bad things can happen. So, it just seems out of character for her to be like, no, wait. Like, I know Nina should pay, but Sonny's happiness. No! Sonny would be happier if you were honest with him. But yeah, that was so frustrating because I'm like, oh, well, at least there's Ned. At least he knows the truth and he'll just, you know, let Nina have it. Blow the whole thing sky high. And she convinces him to back down for now. I'm like, did they forget that this is November sweeps? This is when it should be coming out. Like, if we had to wait till February, it's going to be even more annoying. And me and my mom were laughing yesterday. We were like, you know what? This is why you can tell the old writers are coming back. Because things are getting dragged out for no reason again. Hey, Nikisha. How are you? Oh, man. But yeah, that totally grinded my gears. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. We have Ned back. You know, we seen Michael backing down, and now we're like, okay, thank God Ned knows the truth. And then y'all do this. Like, seriously? It's also super weird seeing him back in, like, full-on Ned mode again. I mean, he hasn't gone back to work on screen yet, but Hey, Angel. Yeah, I'm frustrated with that. Also, one thing I want to say, changing the subject a little bit, on GH still, but just different characters. Austin. I am so like I've said it countless times uh, over the last several months that this character is so unnecessary. They just need to let go of freaking Roger because this is not it. Like the inconsistent writing with Austin, it's just insufferable at this point. Him losing his memory was totally pointless. Yeah, I mean, it was a fun story and it brought Lois back, I guess, which was fun in itself. But yeah, it was pointless. Like it there shouldn't have been no pause. There should be no pause between Ned getting his memory back and Nina being found out about. You know. And then everyone's just gonna get pissed at everyone for keeping the secret from each other. Like, Carly is gonna be mad that Michael kept this from her. Sonny is gonna be mad that Ned and Olivia kept this from him. It's just frustrating. And even Carly kind of like backing down. Like, yeah, she was suspicious of why Nina would sell her the Metrocourt, or offered to sell her the Metrocourt, but then she was like, maybe you're right. Like, honest to God. Because Sonny was like, maybe this is about Charlotte, it's putting things in perspective for her. In hindsight, it makes me wonder if, because I don't know if you guys seen the other day, Laura Wright was on Stephen Bradford's podcast, which is now called Total Drama or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. They changed it from That's Awesome to something else. Daily Drama or something similar to that. And she was the first guest. And she mentioned that, well, they were talking about writing and being a daytime soap actor in general, and talking about how there are moments where they get frustrated saying their character would never do something like this. And I think Bradford asked her, like, when's the last time it happened? And she was like, last week. And they would have recorded this a few weeks ago, because she mentioned that the scenes with Michael finding out the truth about Nina just happened. Carly mad at her bestie Olivia. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hey, Nathan. Just chilling. Yeah, Kristen Manzi was on the podcast. I was watching, I didn't watch the whole thing yet, but I was watching it on my lunch break at work. Today. Hey, Brooklyn. But yeah, she seems like a sweet girl in real life. Oh man, what else can we talk about? I know you guys are just kind of strolling in now. We haven't said too much. I gave my 2 cents on my annoyance that Ned is going to stay silent on the Nina matter, when he's literally the one that should have been blowing it sky high already. And just that Austin is pointless. I really want him to just, just come clean and just throw, oh my god, I can't even forget. Throw Cyrus under the bus. Because, he might as well. And get killed off, and then he can die a martyr or whatever. But I think we're getting Ava confronting him tomorrow on the Cyrus front. But yeah, I don't know. It's not been the most thrilling week thus far, and I hope it gets better. Hard to say if it will or not. What are your guys' thoughts on the show so far? Oh, also, you guys can let me know what your thoughts are, but I should mention as well, TJ finding out that Andrea, their surrogate, lost the baby. A lot of you guys talked about that happening, whether you read spoilers or not. I don't know. I don't read spoilers, but I also wasn't that surprised, mostly because, probably because of y'all. But it also just seemed like it might have not lasted anyway because it was so quick. Nathan, you said, I love Morgan Fairchild, but GH needs to stop wasting her on this role she's playing. She should be Liz's mom, Carolyn. Maybe. I don't know. She looks too, like, glamorous to play her, unless that's just, like, the look for the character. But Cody being the male model for The Deceptor, just kind of weird, a little bit clunky, I found those scenes being, but at least Sasha admitted that she had feelings for him. And then Cody overheard that. Hopefully he doesn't, like, be weird about it and, like, backs off and I don't know. Jakey said, I thought she'd kept the baby herself once she gave birth. There's always a kidnapping of some sort. Well, GH's MO has been, like, having two girls pregnant at the same time, and then nothing comes of it. It's like they want us to think that that's going to happen, like a baby switch or something, and then that never happens. So probably someone else will get pregnant with Molly's child, or sorry, TJ's child, and someone else will just get pregnant as well, just to keep the chain going. I was surprised that Ned didn't go see Leo before he went to work. Yeah, no kidding. Their reunion probably happened off screen, I'm sure, because God forbid. But yeah, that should have been a scene. I bet Leo will be, like, weird about it. And just be like, you know, I kind of miss Eddie. Eddie was cool. But I was also kind of hoping that with this, with Ned getting his memories back and also wanting to finish the song, that he'd maybe consider kind of getting back on the road and doing music again. And, like, maybe sort of, not necessarily quit ELQ cold turkey, but, like, balance the scales a bit. But he seems to just be jumping right back into the corporate world. We'll see, though. We'll see. Maybe like an Eddie Main final concert. We deserve to hear the whole damn song at this point, you know? What else can we talk about? Oh, I've liked TJ's performance so far and his reaction to Andrea losing the baby. I'm interested to see how the actress that plays Molly does. Let's see if she has some acting chops in her. But yeah. I mean, this is going to be a blow for Molly for sure, because she's obviously super happy and planning her future and wanting to quit her job to raise the baby that's no longer here. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Chris Manzi said on Stephen Bradford's podcast that Christina is dating Blaze and being Molly and TJ's surrogate. I'm like, did she just reveal a spoiler? Yeah, like, okay, so I didn't hear that part yet, but I was also having to tune in and out because people were coming in from my work and asking me questions while I was watching. But I think she also gave away a spoiler that Bradford was gonna be, like, soaked in water. Like, so I don't know. guess she's just revealing spoilers whenever. Hey, Jake. Yeah, I'll have to watch the rest of the interview. And apologize if my voice seems a bit stuffy. My allergies are kind of bothering me tonight. Nothing rough, at least. But just a little stuffed up here and there. I might just take an allergy pill off screen in a moment. But yeah. Anything else interesting happened this week? I feel like not really. Oh, Finn is being sued for malpractice. That's the thing that happened. Listen, don't get me wrong, I am not, how do I word this in like a way that's not shady, because I don't want it to be shady. I'm obviously not super into Finn and Liz, but I do appreciate that there is a couple that are both, a doctor and a nurse on the show, and that they are at least kind of having a hospital-related storyline. I just don't like that this is a thing that mostly happened off screen. Because when they first kind of brought it up, like, I wasn't even thinking about the scene however long ago, a month ago or so, where Liz and Finn were on the roof talking about how he lost a patient. I forgot about that completely. And that's the problem when they put things off for so long. Because, you just forget. But to that end, I wish that we would have seen him lose the patient and seen the family sort of be mad about it. And it's just another thing that's happening mostly off screen when it shouldn't be. Why is the hospital broke? Oh, hey, Jacarius. I don't know. I feel like GH teeters in being broke and being very pristine, or having such a great reputation as a hospital, but going back and forth on being broke all the time. I don't know. They need to step it up. Yes, they do. Show's been dull. I agree. Before she appeared on screen, revealing the surrogacy story didn't give us a chance to be surprised. Yeah. SLJ said, if Carly decides to buy her hotel back, how in the world is she going to pay for it? They said she couldn't borrow money from anyone or the SEC would be suspicious. Yeah, and Sunny did ask her that question too, and Carly didn't even seem to think she had an answer to it either. That said, what we do know, is that Bobby's going to pass away probably soon, because they're talking about her more and more, and perhaps Bobby has a trust fund or something that, that apparently she might be really wealthy. We don't know. We don't really know much about Bobby's life outside of Carly. We don't know where this woman lives, what she gets up to when she's not working at the hospital, how much money she's saved over the years. We don't know any of that. So, I just don't know. Also, between Bobby and Luke, maybe there's a trust fund out there that'll kind of go towards Kelly's, or who knows? We'll see. But I kind of hope that she doesn't buy back the MetroCorp. Keep her at Kelly's. Keep Kelly's in the Spencer family. I was wondering if they showed the patient dying or the problem. No, they didn't. They just showed Finn and Liz on the roof talking about how he lost a patient. And that was a month ago, or maybe even more at this point. I don't know. Hi, Christelle. Yeah, the whole lawsuit threw me off. Yeah, I feel like it would be a fine story to have been, being told gradually from the start, but it just it really felt like it was out of nowhere. And it's because they don't show that stuff on screen. And it's I know that not everyone loves the hospital storylines, but I think that they need to be there because the show is the show is called General Hospital. Put some hospital stuff on the show. I don't know. I would appreciate it. Like, and don't get me wrong, I love the action-packed storylines that they tell, and I have a variety of interests with this show. And I love the show for many different categories, but I think the hospital needs to be present. Wasn't Bobby living in Carly and Jax's house with the yellow living room? So she was. I don't know if she still is. We haven't seen that set since Carly lived in there. So, I mean, we have, but they made it into some Cassadine, like, compound in Greece or wherever. But, we don't know that she's still living there. We don't know if, like, Carly was just like, here, have this house, which is fine. Doesn't mean that Bobby's necessarily not wealthy. It just means that she didn't need to buy a house. Like, why spend the money on a house that, if there's this house there that nobody's living in? Angel, you said, doesn't the Quartermains and Sonny give enough money to keep the hospital afloat? You would think. Even Nicholas at one time was dumping some money also. Yeah, it makes you wonder what they're spending it on. We need hospital storylines. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need... I don't understand why people won't like hospital scenes. I don't know. I can't even speak for what the vibe is for most of the fans, because we just don't know. Like, for every person that seems to be huge Sonny and Jason fans, there are a lot of people that have been watching longer than even they've been on that say that they want hospital storylines and they want love in the afternoon and they want less mob. I'm kind of one of those people. I've never been a huge Sonny and Jason fan. I'm a huge fan of Maurice and I'm a huge fan of Steve. And I think that, I don't get me wrong, I like their characters, but I don't love their characters. I love the veterans. I love seeing, like, the hospital aspect, and I love seeing the super couples from the 80s and stuff still being on the show today. Like, I love seeing characters like Anna and Robert and Laura and, all these people that really were there in the highest prime of GH's legacy still being on the show today. Could their storylines be better? Yes, but I'm still just grateful that we still have them on the show. And whenever I sort of need to, I don't know, be a little less negative about GH, I do tend to think back to the Guza era and how the veterans were treated back then. And, in hindsight, it makes me grateful that they are being treated with a lot more respect now, in the sense that they are getting tons of screen times. They're not like these sort of like caricature versions of themselves like they used to be in the Guza era, and they're not like not getting story. They're getting story. They're getting actual screen time, and that is something that was unheard of back then. So in that sense, I'm grateful. And I do think, for all of the flaws that Frank Valentini has, I think that he does respect the veterans far more than than his predecessors did over the last 2 decades or so. When are they going to find out that evidence in the bank is real and Spencer should use it? It's not real, though. They know it's not real. Victor said they conjured it up. Or didn't he? Oh, no, I didn't talk about Trina and Ava's conversation. I actually really liked those scenes, though. I think Maura and Tabiana have really great chemistry as, like, sort of mentor and student, so to speak, and, like, mother-daughter vibes. And, like, yeah, she clearly... The conversation essentially was, yes, she still loves Spencer, and Ava just advised her to discuss it like adults, instead of giving him the cold shoulder. Like, if you want this relationship to work, sit him down and talk about how you feel. And I think Ava gave her really good advice. Whether or not it's gonna help, I don't know. And to that end, just to kind of the subject the same but change it up a little bit. I really liked that Esme really kind of laid out her logic to him and kind of, just like put it out there like, so like the four of us are gonna be happy in a house together, like, and he's like, what? Yeah, like Trina, she's gonna be happy with moving in with us. I'm glad that she went there, and I'm glad that she's speaking up for herself, because it doesn't strike me as her like trying to manipulate him. It's just her pointing out the obvious. You know what I mean? Like this, like them not being in a romantic relationship and raising, Ace together is not a life that either of them really want to live. Like Spencer does love Trina. And, I think Esme, though there's always the lingering potential that she could get her memories back, let's say she never does. Like, she does genuinely deserve to move on with her life instead of being stuck in a house with someone that hates her and someone that she does have feelings for that does not want to be with her. Like, she deserves to, like, go out and have her own life and work and raise her kid and, find love herself if that's in the cards for her. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, even Esme made sense too, which I appreciated. Like, I actually like what they're doing with Esme's character. And it's not to say that I don't think that Esme should pay for her crimes. I just think that, while she is clearly, she doesn't seem to be wanting to. I'm shocked about you. You're what? You're shocked about you? Shocked about me? I'm just saying it makes sense. Like, I think that Esme is right. Like, she, like, I think that they are. I like the way that they're writing her, and I like that it's being, somewhat realistic in the sense that she's just talking logic. And I'm still wondering when her amnesia is going to end. What if it doesn't, though? You know what I mean? Like, we don't know. Like, yes, it's always going to be in the cards, but it's always been in the cards for Jason too, and he's never gotten his memory back. Like, it's a storyline that they could do at any point in time. So, you know what I mean? And, like, yeah, to that end, Eddie Main, he got his memories back, but he lost his memories and gained them way, like, in between, like, in the time that she's already forgotten who she was. So, like, anything could happen. And I think, it's a wild card that they could play if they run out of ideas, but I think it's also not necessarily something that they have to do. You know what I mean? Like, and here's the thing. Obviously, we've been talking about it. Nicholas Chavez is not going to be on GH for much longer because he's going to be doing a show. And again, I think that the sky is the limit with him. And they could recast his character. It's going to be hard to replace an actor like Nicholas. But they might not bring him back. Maybe he'll just go off on his own and be on his own and whatever. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I think Nicholas has made a great name for himself as Spencer on the show, that I think people will be kind of upset to see him recasted. They'd understand it though, because he is a pretty important character on the show, I guess, but as you can see, there are very important characters on the show where the actors do leave and the show moves on because that's all they can do, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. When's the last time we had a hospital storyline? I guess it depends on what you define as a hospital storyline. Because obviously the opioid crisis, that was kind of really affecting GH for a while. Obviously Sasha was kind of the main character in that plot, but we were seeing that hospital aspects of it and seeing patients getting rolled in, overdosing on these drugs. But beyond that, I think the last time we really got to, like, a storyline where the hospital was the center of the story was probably the water pathogen back in 2012. Realistically, not that the hospital hasn't had its moments since then. Like the one thing that does spring to my mind was that scene where like the hospital staff and Jordan and whoever else all teamed up to steal Ryan Chamberlain's kidney for Jordan. I don't know. I was shocked that you weren't a huge Jason fan. I've always said that. I'm not a huge Jason fan. I liked J-Sam as a couple, not Jason as a character. And to that end, like a lot of that was because Kelly Monaco and Sam made Jason fun to watch back in their prime. But I'm not, it's not that I hate Jason, but there was a point where I did, for sure. And a lot of that had nothing to do with how he treated Sam or any of that. What it came down to for me was how much screen time Steve used to get under Guzza. That's where the hatred started. Because it didn't matter. Yeah, he had J-Sam as a couple, but that man was in every single storyline he didn't need to be in constantly. So that part of my hatred for Jason still lingers, even though he didn't really have as much screen time in his last go round. Yeah, Jason was played out. Yeah, that's how I felt. Like, you can only do so much with a character who doesn't say much or do much beyond be Sonny's bodyguard. And when you take him away from Sam, which was arguably his most popular couple, you can put him with another character, and to that end, it kind of worked with Jason and Britt. Like, they had a bit of a fan base, although it was like a weird sort of storyline to happen. Like, it just, I don't know, it worked a little bit. But again, it's because of Britt. Like, putting him with interesting storylines makes putting him with interesting female characters makes the character better. The character on his own is what? A quiet henchman who kisses Carly's and Sonny's ass all the time. And they overplay it over and over and over again. And he ends up putting Sonny and Carly above all these interesting women that were once making his character interesting. And it's funny, I know we were mentioning the podcast that Laura did with Stephen Bradford earlier, but she and Steve even talked about how awkward them getting together was. Like, they were like scratching their heads at the fact that they were putting these characters together and how fast they got together, and how they were suddenly falling for each other out of nowhere, and and how they felt like it was rushed because they got to get Sonny back in town from Nixon Falls. They wasted Travis with his baby storyline. Yes, they did. It was definitely the Carly, Sonny, and Jason show at that point. Yes, it was. Even after the incident in 95-96, he had some personality until the 2010s. Yeah, but that's like, I think a lot of that too was that, Jason was still essentially like a young adult, and his rebellious streak would have been strong because of his age, and also because he had no memory. So like, and the family that he grew up in, there was a lot of dynamics that made Jason a really interesting character for quite some time in the 90s and the early 2000s. But for me, someone who really started watching full on in like 2005, 2006-ish, I was sick of the character by 2007. And that's me watching him for a year, knowing the character that he was, and like learning the history, because I did watch YouTube, of course. You guys know I like binged so much classic GH, including Jason's memory loss storyline from back then, and I felt that storyline was amazing, and there were some great scenes. But then it's like what more like now that he's like an established adult and he's Sonny's henchman, that's what he does, it's what he is, it's what he will be. He has no desire to be anything more than that. What do you do with the character? You know what I mean? Like, what do you do with Jason after that? You put him with a couple. And then, or you put him in a couple. And then that couple works. And then, the writers get bored and take him out of it. And they constantly make Sonny and Carly the crutch to his relationships. No matter who he's been with. Sam. Elizabeth. Britt. Like, I feel like I can't count Robin because when they were together, they were still quite young and they were their own thing. But I just mean like in his full grown adult years, these are like the couples that happened, and each of them fell apart because of Sonny and Carly. So I don't know. I don't know whoever they would put him with next. Maybe it would work, but on his own, like, not interested. He rode a whole ass motorcycle in the Q mansion. That was epic. Angel said, I like Jason Q and Morgan. I wanted Jason Morgan to find love. Well, that's the thing, like, oh, Courtney destroyed that relationship with Jason. Wait, which relationship? Courtney destroyed... Sorry, elaborate, Angel. I don't know what you mean. Jason was boring. There were moments where he was compelling for sure, but yeah, I'd say, 2007 onwards, it was just rinse, wash, repeat, no matter what they did with the character. And it's funny, they went all in with Jason and Elizabeth for a while, like, not long after I had started watching, like, shortly after Jason and Sam broke up. And that to me was boring as hell, personally. Although I know that Liaison had their fan base, for sure. But that couple was so boring to me because it was the same conversation every day. And, or every week they were having the same thing. Oh, they were just wanting to be together constantly, and it was like, I want to be with you, and then it was like, I can't be with you, my life is too dangerous, and then it would just flip to I want to be with you, I can't be with you, your life is too dangerous, I gotta think about my boys. I just didn't get the appeal to them, because it was just back and forth every week and nothing more, nothing less. And I think that's ultimately why they probably switched the couples of Liz and Lucky Liz and Jason and Sam and Lucky back to their original perspectives. Although, personally, I loved Lou Sam and found them far more interesting than Liaison because I felt like Lucky brought a lot of good stuff out of Sam and kind of she also was kind of doing her own thing and she was allowed to be her own person with him. And I think that because of that, J-Sam 2.0 in 2009 really worked for me as a couple because Sam did have her independence and she had her own friends and family at that point. Courtney destroyed her own relationship with Jason. She never could get with his lifestyle. Okay. Yeah, that was one couple, I seen them. I wasn't full on watching, but I seen them. And they weren't all that appealing to me. So I feel like I didn't pay much attention. And I think back to the earliest days where I wasn't quite watching, but what was slowly pulling me in was the big sweep storylines. So the Port Charles Hotel fire, things like that. But it was the older characters that were doing it for me even then, even though I had no clue who anyone really was. I was like, I like this Luke character. This Heather Weber character is crazy, back when she had made her first return to the show. Because it was Heather thinking she was Laura, and Luke and Skye were kind of a thing. And I liked Skye too, and I liked the Quartermain family because they were funny to me. Like, all of that is what appealed to me. And then, like, the mob stuff was cool. And I was like, ooh, this is, like, not what you'd see on a normal soap. So, like, I did like the mob to an extent. But even the mob stuff kind of got predictable. Like, it was like a new enemy would come in, and Jason and Sunny would have a montage shootout, and Sunny would win again and again and again. And that got boring for me. So what I will say, because I talk about how much I hate the Ron Carlivati era too, but I did appreciate that there were action storylines that had shit all to do with the mob and shit all to do with Sunny and Jason. And we were seeing, like, characters like Anna and Robert kick ass and take names again. You know what I mean? And dealing with, like, the original baddies like Faison and you know, having them kind of, you know, meet these newer villains like Jerry Jacks as well. I will say that Ron Carlivati for a little while had a good stride going for the 2013 year, but he really did have the luck of riding the coattails of the 50th year of the show. And also, like, I think they also went into GH thinking that they were hired to wrap up the show and thinking that GH was going to get canceled. And thankfully they saved it. And it's still hanging on, maybe by a thread, but it's still here. I just kind of relate with Jason Morgan on Finding Love. You know, listen, I want Jason to find love too, but I want him to stay with them and not put Sunny and Carly above them. And they don't seem to want to do that for the character. And there lies the problem with Jason for me. I don't think that they'll ever really have him choose someone over Sunny and Carly, ever. And so the character, just as, you know, its own entity, will never fully work for me. Like, they can't have him move on from them. And I think that, in many ways, it hurts the character. Because, like, the character doesn't grow. The character doesn't grow. Couldn't somebody else buy the hotel and just give the hotel to Carly? I suppose. That's a big chunk of money to, like, spend on Carly, though. I think Liaison fans just wanted to go back to a time when Liz and Jason were together before Liz had kids. They were alright pre-kids, but I think Courtney and Sam were more interesting. That's fair. Some 60th year, though. Yeah, the 60th year has definitely been a letdown overall. Yeah. What more to say? Like, I guess another unfortunate thing is that the writer's strike happened right in the thick of the 60th year, but it kind of, like, the show got better under the scab writers. Not that it was, like, something that the 60th year should have been, but I don't know. I just expected so much more than what we got. I think that the Cassadine storyline, as small as it was overall well done. I feel like, you know, they had all these veteran characters and they were throwing back to the Ice Princess and making Victor this big bad, and I think that whole storyline was really well done. But I also think that this is something that should have kind of continued on in some other way, you know? Like, yeah, they could defeat Victor. Oh, good night, Chikarius. I think that they should have carried it on from there, and they really just kind of let it be, like, done. I mean, I think what I probably said once the story was over was that I thought for sure, like, this would somehow segue into Luke being found out to be alive or something like that, and it never was. Because, like, obviously they were bringing Tracy back, so it was like, okay, so they must be doing something with Luke, because this is too, you know, it would, and my thought was, like, it wouldn't make sense to bring Tracy back, to bring this Ice Princess storyline, to have this Cassadine storyline play out, have Laura be involved in it, and having the younger generation involved with it, and then not bring Luke back. And then that's exactly what happened. And what did they do with Tracy after that? They stuck her in the Deception story. What? Like, That was my reaction. Like, what in the actual? Why? Y'all brought Jane Elliott back for this? Why? Oh, it's just frustrating. I basically missed the 2013 and earlier storylines. Yeah, I miss the earlier storylines. I miss the days of really action-packed sweep stunts and like storylines that involve the entire cast where they're all in some kind of room where a disaster is gonna take place, like the Metrocourt hostage crisis, the black and white ball, the toxic balls storyline. Even though that was probably the worst among all of those kind of big ones, but yeah, just storylines like that. I feel like the pathogen scare was really well done, and it reminded me of the days of yesteryear of those big sweep storylines. But that was really the last big one that we had. Darby, you said Drew is a waste of a character. He seems like he's tracing Jason's life over and making Jason's old mistakes over and over again, i.e. Carly. I know I'm going back to talking about Laura and Stephen Bradford again, but did you hear what Laura said about Carly and Drew? She says, and I didn't get the sense that she was fully joking. I think this is how she's justifying Carly and Drew as a couple in her head. She says that she's only with Drew because he has Jason's memories. And she even says, like, it hasn't been played out on screen that that's her actual thought process, but I think that's just how she's seeing it in her head to justify why they're a couple. So even Carly, I mean, even Laura Wright I don't think that she's fully serious or taking the couple of Carly and Drew all that seriously. I think with Jason being in the mob, if he somehow left on his own, the danger would increase and loved ones would get involved. I know Steve Burton would prefer Jason Morgan, but the character has to evolve. Yeah, I agree. Like, the character of Jason needs to evolve, but I also think that the writers have the power. Like, Steve, like, I know that people often say, like, oh, the biggest names on the show get a lot of say on the show, but not really. You know what I mean? Like Laura Wright as Carly probably gets more screen time than anybody, but she admitted that she doesn't seem to have a say in the storylines, and that they have no choice but to do what's on the paper. They can change certain things in terms of like making things a bit more personal, instead of on a broader scheme like the writers maybe pen it in the day-to-day stuff. But storyline wise, they don't get too much of a say. They can maybe be like, you know, I want something new to play, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they would, like, you know, get to say where exactly that will go. Don't forget that Jane was front and center in that thrilling Eddie Mayne story. Oh my goodness. It's been fun seeing Jane with Lucy and Lois. She is being so wasted. I guess Jane was bored in her retirement. Yeah, I can't say I blame her. And honestly, that it doesn't surprise me. Because I think that she lives and breathes acting. Because even when she was retired, she was doing little things like those sort of like online, like during the pandemic, those like little online sort of web series that all took place in their homes. Like, she never stopped really acting. So I don't know. I think that she was bored in her retirement too. Since Carly freely admits that Jason and Sonny is her soulmate, she'd dump Drew in a second if Jason came back into her life. I bet if Maurice Benard had threatened to quit, he'd get whatever story he wanted. I don't know, because he's talked about retirement all the time and like, you know, openly. But I don't think Maurice sat there and was like, you know what? Give me an amnesia storyline and put me in a small town away from everyone in Port Charles. Like, you know what I mean? I think that they well, I mean, I know that like what factored into that particular storyline too is that Maurice was supposed to do a project, and I don't know if I think it fell apart or something, and they needed a reason to get him out of town and keep him out of town while keeping him sort of still on the show in some kind of way. Jane has acting in her blood. She said she wanted it as a career since she was a little girl. Denise Alexander is the same. She started on 10 years old. Yeah, so yeah, there's just some people who they want to do it for the rest of their lives until they close the coffin. And I think that Jane ultimately will be one of them. Oh, thanks for the hearts. Maurice didn't think of the story with Nina, but he has been vocal about his love for Cynthia Watrous. That's why no matter what fans say, Sonny and Nina will stay together. Well, one thing that I think the fans that kind of catch the behind the scenes stuff more often than not is that Maurice is always and has always been to praise the character and the actress that his character is currently with. That has always been his thing, no matter who he's with. When Sonny and Carly is on, he'll talk about how much he loves working with Laura and adores her and this and that. And then when they put him with Nina, same thing. When they put him with Brenda, same thing. Any character that they put him with, he praises. And I think, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with him saying that he loves working with Cynthia Watrous. But that, having said that, if they wanted to put Sonny with someone else that wasn't Nina or Carly, I think that he would be all for it and would go for it and then praise whatever actress is playing his new beau as well. So I think while he can maybe say, I don't want this character with Carly anymore, I want to play something different, I don't think he necessarily gets to choose what that different might mean. You know what I mean? This case, they put him with Nina. But if someone else were to come around that they could put him with, I don't think that they would hesitate to do that either. And I don't think that Maurice would be like, no, I want Sonny to stay with Nina. Like, I don't think that he would do that. Jane is also so cool because she has aged naturally without any visible work done. Yeah, I respect that about her too. She looks in her age range, but she's also very vital, like Anna Lee was. Natural beauty. Yeah, I agree. The difference is the fans loved Sonny and Brenda and Sonny and Carly, but the majority of fans hate Nina. I think Mo is standing up for Cynthia. Maybe that's part of it, but I also think that it's just that he literally does not want to play the Sonny and Carly relationship anymore. And there's not currently a woman on the canvas that would make more sense than Nina at the moment. He said it on State of Mind. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure Maurice said it was idea to work with Cynthia, not the rest of the story, but he wanted the pairing. But, like, who else was he going to pick? That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, it's not like, I mean, first of all, Nina was with Jax, so it was probably an easy sell to be like, why not mix things up and make another rival with Sonny and Jax and make that Nina? Like, that's what I feel. That's how I feel like maybe that conversation would have went down. But there was literally no one else to put him with. Like, what are they gonna do? Throw him with Obrecht or like put him with Liz? Like, no one. I don't know. It just wouldn't work. Cynthia has been blatantly attacked by fans, and you're right that Mo doesn't want a Sonny and Carly reunion, much like Tony didn't want Luke to do Luke and Laura again. Yeah. So yeah, I think to that point, that's where he has the say, where like, you know, I don't want to play Sonny and Carly anymore, even though it might be what the fans want. But I think ultimately, if the show were to end, like, he would probably want Sonny and Carly together for the fans' sake. If he knew the show was going to end anyway, and that, you know, like, there's nothing more to be done, then why not? Because it won't matter. But yeah, I do think Maurice does have to go extra hard because, you know, again, there are batshit crazy fans out there that attack the actors for the characters they play, and it drives me freaking nuts because, like, you know, this is why I'm not on Twitter, you guys. Like, this is why I don't have a Twitter account. I just don't want it. Because the fans on GH that are kind of roam on Twitter all seem batshit crazy. And even on some of the other social media platforms too. Like, I don't know. People just need to learn to just separate the actors from the characters because it's so not fair, and some things get really nasty, and like my first kind of memory of like social media and fans attacking people was with Kelly and Becky because of the JSam and Liaison Wars, and those fans were so vicious to those actresses, and it's like, and yet Kelly and Becky seem really close, and even like Laura and Cynthia seem really close, and like it's like, and people do the same for like Trina and Esme, and like Tabiana and Avery are very close, and they hang out in real life all the time. Like, I don't know, it drives me nuts. Yeah, but why attack them at all, you know, DG? Like, they're just doing their jobs, and yeah, and like obviously there are actors that I think can't act as well, but I'm not gonna go there on their Twitter and tell them that they suck. You know what I mean? Or like I'm not gonna stalk them on social media. Why are you stalking actors? Like this is my logic. When I see fans go onto the social media accounts of actors that they don't like, I'm like, are y'all dumb? Why are you following these people and attacking them in the comments all the time? Like, that shit drives me nuts. Get a life. Like, I get so annoyed with that. There are people, there are celebrities that I hate too, obviously. But I'm not gonna sit there and waste my precious spare time attacking these people on their social media accounts. For what? What is it gonna do? That's how I see that. Sorry guys, I'm snotting up for real. Let me just blow my nose quickly. Sorry, y'all. I'm back. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying. The average viewers can't separate characters from actors. It drives me nuts. Yeah, those guys seem to be... Do you mean petty? The JSam vs. Liaison war was crazy. I actually read a JSam fan wishing for that a Liaison fan's husband would get killed when he went off tour in Afghanistan. Yeah, like, I seen shit like that too. I never go on personal profiles of celebs I don't like. I would just say on general fan sites. Okay, that's valid. But yeah, like it drives me crazy. Like, yeah, because, you know, I mean, the only message board that I go on personally is Soap Central, and they make sure that we're not slandering the actors and commenting on their work, mainly because they know that the actors come to the message boards and they don't want them to feel that way. And I think that's fair. I don't mind a forum that keeps it just to the characters and the writing and stuff. When Jen Lilly was cast as Maxie, as bad as I thought she was, I never attacked her on her personal Twitter. She always seemed nice. I just thought she was miscast. And blamed Jill Farren-Phelps, not Jen herself. Yeah, well, I mean, but to that end, they also didn't really have a choice but to recast Maxie. And I think at the time, too, like, they didn't know how long Kirsten Storms was going to be gone. You know what I mean? So they just had to do what they had to do. And yeah, I agree. She was miscast. She was not a great Maxie. I've seen her in other movies, and I think that she plays certain other characters well, for sure. But yeah, I was not a fan of Jen Lilly's Maxie either. I think most Soap fans are rational. It's just that the crazy ones make the most noise and ruin it for the rest of us. Ain't that the truth, though? Like, and the thing is, too, like, because the fans like that don't seem to be very logical, right? And they, like, to me, I don't know, it just, because most of us, I feel like, just aren't gonna waste our times, like, going on social media and, like, attacking people, or, like, even trying to, you know, start an argument with someone that is, typically. Sometimes I've done that on Instagram. I don't know. For me personally, I get so sick of, like, whenever like GH posts anything, for example, there's always someone in the comments like hire Steve back again, and I'm just like, they can't. He's on a different show. Like, there's this one time where I was just trying to, like, speak from a logical point of view, because I'm like, of course it always comes back to, like, the vaccine mandate and this and that, and I'm like, okay, but you can't blame GH for that. It wasn't their decision. It was the higher ups that didn't give them a choice but to let him go, and they ultimately, you know, made this decision and whatnot. I was like, however, Steve got a job at Days before the mandate was lifted, so they could not hire him back. And unless Steve Burton wants to go back to GH, it's still not their decision to bring him back. They can't just drag his ass back if he doesn't want to come back. You know what I mean? And obviously, like, again, Steve didn't burn any bridges with GH. He kind of, you know, I think he left on as good of terms as he could have. And I think that he was very respectful, and even he knew, like, at the end of the day, he has a good relationship with the writers, with the actors, with the cast and the crew. And if he ever wanted to come back, I think he knows that they would hire him in a heartbeat. But there are still fans that, like, blame GH and, like, still, like, be like, bring him back every single day. And you can tell them that, like, he's on a different show. They literally can't legally have him back. Like, fans have no idea that TV is a business. That's what's so frustrating to me. Like, and so I try to come at them with, like, the logic of, like, you know, at the end of the day, there's contracts involved. There's all this behind the scenes stuff. It's not just, like, if the show wants Steve back, they can bring him back. No, at the most, what GH can do is when Steve's contract is up at Days, they can make him an offer and try to make it a good enough one that he will leave Days willingly. But he seems to like being there. You know what I mean? So, and I'm happy for the guy. Like, and, you know, and like I said, like, it's hard for me to want the character back, because I don't think that they're going to put him back with Sam, because truthfully, I don't think that Steve and Kelly want to play J. Sam anymore. And maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know for sure. It just did not work the last time that they put them together, and it did not last. And then if they bring Jason back now, he's just going to be all up in Carly and Sunny's weird life, and then just be exactly what I don't want the character to be. And I don't think that they're going to grow the character in any way. The one thing I will give props for the writers, whoever they were at the time, when they brought Jason back after the first time he left the show, is that they did give him a little bit more emotion, especially when he came back. But then it kind of like slowly disintegrated, and you know, we got back to like classic Jason with no power to think for himself. Yeah, Ingo Rademacher was doing the absolute most. Yeah, dude burned every bridge he possibly could. And I don't like, and notice how he's not acted in anything ever since. Like, I don't know. And that's the thing. It's like when ego comes into play, you reap what you sow. So it's like, doesn't matter any of our beliefs on whether we're pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine, this and that. It's how he handled the situation. And how he handled it was to burn the bridges of the only show that literally was willing to give him a job at all, it seemed, minus like the odd primetime appearance, cameo, and here and there. But he's never worked on another soap as far as I can recall. Not like in between the times that he's left GH since the 2000s. And, you know, the reality is, like, you are now the man that has sued a channel or a company for their own protocols. And so, regardless of what any other sort of network thinks, like, that's automatically gonna like make them think, you know, like, we're gonna stay away from you, because if we do anything to make you a little bit mad, you're going to try to sue our network. And I think that's why Ingo hasn't worked on any network, even the networks that didn't have the mandate, so to speak, for that time frame. You know what I mean? He was on bold for like 5 seconds. Oh, okay. That's fair. Yeah, Nathan, like, just like DG said, he might just not want to come back. Like, the mandate was lifted, like, almost as soon as he signed on. Like literally, he had signed the contract, and then, like, couple days later, the mandate was lifted. So, but, like, who's to say he's not really enjoying his time on Days? Maybe he likes it there, it's giving him something new to do, and more power to him. If he wants to come back, more power to him. And like, there are people that think that they just really don't want him back on the show. I'm like, yes, absolutely. Or that they did it on purpose because they wanted him off the show for his beliefs and stuff. I'm like, yes, they totally want one of their most popular actors off the show in the middle of his, a really big storyline. That was definitely why. Like, I don't know. It just, I just wish people that, like, were on social media and like, being very vocal like that, just used even just a bit of common sense to, like, take a step back and think about it logically, and, like we said earlier, to, like, acknowledge that this show is a business, and at the end of the day, their decision was not because of his beliefs and stuff. It was because this was the mandate that their company set at the time, and it has been lifted. So they're not, but I don't know, it's like they can't see that, like, they're not putting him on because of his stance on things. Steve is happy on days, and he and Bradford Anderson are busy with their comedy tour. Yeah, like Steve's doing his thing, you know, like he's living a good life. He seems like he's in a very good place in his life. He seems to kind of found his footing. Obviously, his marriage has ended, but he seems to be doing good for himself, and I think he's happy. And you know, if Steve's happy, I'm happy. Like, I'd rather see Steve happy playing a character that I'm assuming he likes to play, and a cast and crew that he loves and respects, and I know that he loves and respects GH's cast too. That's why he's constantly bringing GH actors onto his podcast. Like, I don't know, it's just accept that, like, maybe he just doesn't want to be on the show. And, you know, if he wants to be on the show when his contract is up at Days, and trust me, I have no doubt in my mind that, like, the showrunners of GH are paying attention. I think that they will make him an offer. Because they know, like, what reason would they have to not bring a character that is popular among fans on the show? Yeah, despite his divorce, he's still good with his kids. Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about that podcast earlier. Yeah, he just had Laura Wright on there. Kate Manzi was also on there as well, who plays Christina. Just uploaded yesterday or today. I watched a bit of it today on my lunch. We'll watch the rest of it, hopefully, maybe this weekend, when I have time. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, none of us, I don't think any of us would be shocked if he came back. I'm just saying that he might not come back, and there are fans that think that GH is, like, keeping him off the show on purpose. When y'all know damn well that if he wanted to come back, they would open up their arms for him, because they never wanted him gone. You know, like, GH did not want Steve and Jason gone. Like, they had plans for the man. Maybe not great plans. And obviously, I don't know, it would have been... who knows what the storyline would have been if Steve was still on the show. But the choice was ultimately out of their hands. So, yeah. Oh yeah, the daytime Emmys are December 15th. Yeah, I'm excited to see that too. But I already forget what everyone was nominated for. Like, what scenes and stuff. But I'll definitely be watching the daytime Emmys for sure. It drives me nuts that fans just can't let an actor go and move on. I love Denise Alexander, but I never pressured her to return to GH when she left. The same goes for Janie Francis. Yeah, when actors are leaving on their own choice, like, it's like, let them leave. Like, you know, to that end, like, Steve technically left on his own choice too, because he wanted to stand up for what he believed in, and that's his prerogative. Like, you know, ultimately he didn't really, I don't know. Like, I'm just saying that there were probably actors that didn't want the vaccine too, that probably got it to keep their jobs. You know what I mean? And I'm just talking about shows in general. I'm sure that that was the case for some. Because, like, to some it wasn't that big of a deal. We're like, okay, well, whatever. They'll take the risk if they felt it was a risk. If Steve does come back, I want Jason Q and Jason Morgan to battle. Yeah, like, that's how I feel. Like, I mean, if Steve wants to come back and GH wants him back, cool. But I would want Jason to have a fresh storyline. I don't want to see the same thing happen over and over again, where he's Sonny and Carly's sort of lapdog, and he's putting everyone else, you know, kind of below them when they shouldn't become below them. But yeah, a Jason Q and Jason Morgan battle I would love to see. Like, I guess it's it'd be such a weird thing for him to play, though, because everyone that Jason Q knew and loved is no longer on the show. That just hit me just now. Which is, like, weird to think about. Like, who from Jason Q's life is left? Monica, but she's not on the show. Alan's dead. Edward's dead. Lila's dead. Like, that's the sad part. When you think about it, damn, they are all dead. The actors are like, the actors are dead and the characters are dead. And Monica, she's not, Leslie's still alive, but she's not on the show. Although, this will be the last thing I talk about because we should end this live stream because it's getting late. Lisa LoCicero, who plays Olivia, talked about how, yes, Lois's mom is coming back, but there's also going to be another special guest, and I have to wonder if it's Leslie Monica. I hope to God it is. I would love to see her one more time. The Qs really have thinned out. That's why the Q scenes depress me. All my faves are gone. Yeah. The one thing I will commend GH on, though, is that even though it's definitely not the same dynamic, I think that they are doing their best to keep the Quartermaines relevant, whereas, Guza and Phelps really try to, shove them down and, like, get rid of them permanently. We are seeing that while the storylines aren't the greatest, they are keeping the Qs front and center a lot of the time. Like, as cringe as this storyline has been with Ned and Olivia, at least they're showing them, and showing them quite regularly. And they have Brooklyn being in and out of the Q house all the time. They cared enough about the Quartermaine Mansion to redo it. Not the best remodel, but I feel like they had good intentions. They could have just left it hanging and let it rot, and then we're seeing the Quartermaine house, and Yuri seems to be the new Alice. Would Monica really be a special guest, though? I mean, yeah, I think so. Because she wasn't referring to, like, a character special guest, just like an actor special guest. Like, who else would it be? Because they do mention, like I said, they mentioned, or Lisa mentioned, the actress that plays Lois's mom. And then she mentioned someone else was going to be a special guest, too. So she's referring to actors. And I just think, if I'm assuming that she's referring to, or she was referring to Thanksgiving, what better way to have a special guest on than bringing Monica on, Leslie Charleston, and then also, it's such a Q thing, and it's, and she, I think she even mentioned, like, it's something that the fans would be really excited about, and I think everyone genuinely has shown their concern for Leslie not being on the show, and they would love to see her again. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you there, DG. I just think I'm just grateful that they're giving them screen time. Obviously, the problem is, and it's the reality for just life in general, you can't go back. Like, they could try to recreate the formula as accurate as they possibly could, writing wise, giving us characters exactly like Monica, exactly like Alan, exactly like Lila, exactly like Edward. But no fan is gonna be like, yes, this is what it is. This is great. I'm glad that they've repeated everything. Yeah, Nakisha. Yeah, it is her house. That's why it's gonna be special, Angel. It's her house and Alan gave it to her. Oh, man. But yeah. And also, they did make a point to have Olivia point out that Monica's not at the house anymore. It was just a subtle line. But they had the cues talking about the house not being the same. So that's another reason why I think that it's going to be Monica. Because why mention that part? They've kind of just had her being like off screen, but home. And now they've made it a point to be like she's not at the house. I don't know. Seems sus to me. There, yes, thank you, Jake. Yeah, so, okay, so it was Brooklyn that brought it up. I forgot who did, but yeah, it was definitely mentioned that Monica was out of the house and Tracy was going to Amsterdam, and yeah. So that didn't strike me as a oh, Olivia said that. Maybe it was Brooklyn. You might be right. Either way. What's possible is what the brass and the actors agree on. Well, I think Nathan's just saying like it is in the realm of possibility for Steve to come back, you know, and he's not wrong in that sense. I'm just saying that he might not want to come back. We don't know. Like, is Leslie okay? We don't know, but you know. I think we just have to, as frustrating as it is to not know, we also have to kind of accept the fact that it's really none of our business. We can be concerned as fans, but if she doesn't want to disclose what's going on with her, that is her prerogative. And yeah, it sucks because I am, you know, I'm a huge fan of Leslie, and I hope that she's okay, and I want to know that she's okay. And I think in many ways the fact that that she's willing to make voice cameos is kind of her own little way to be like, you know, I'm still here. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see. She wasn't walking very well last time we saw her. Yeah, you know, like, so maybe it was too much for her to be on the show. Well, Angel, maybe that's what the Quartermain Thanksgiving will be. We'll see. We'll see. We don't know. We'll find out. Thanksgiving in the States is soon, right? So. But anyway. This was a great hang. We didn't have like a real sort of game plan with this one, but I think it turned into some great conversation here tonight. I get the idea how much I think she owes it to her fans and her colleagues just to clarify her status. She doesn't have to give her personal health information, just tell us if she wants to work or is able to. I don't know, I just think maybe she doesn't want people to fuss if she discloses anything, but again, it is her prerogative. You know, as a fan, of course it's frustrating, but it's still, at the end of the day, none of our business. Just because we're fans of her doesn't mean we deserve to know. Like, yeah, like, we want to know, and in some ways maybe we do deserve to know, but it's still not our call to make. I think they're just going to wind up eating pizza again next week. We'll find out. Time will tell. But anyway, I am going to end the stream here. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a long... I only planned on being here for like 45 minutes, y'all. And we turned it into nearly 2 hours. Well, an hour and a half. Not bad. Alright, guys. But thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. I'll be live streaming again on Sunday, talking about the week as a whole. Hopefully it gets a bit more interesting the last couple of days. We'll see. Fingers crossed. But yeah, catch you guys then. Mwah. Peace out.